Now I say, if I came out of the university in Cairo, Egypt, and I was white with blue eyes and a blonde beard and a brown jalabia, which they call a juba, just so they don't want to follow the Quran, you follow? And a multicolored tagia, and then said it, I believe that the Sunni Muslims would believe it. You know why I say that? Because there was a mosque called Darul Islam here, a movement on Herkimer Street, 52 to be exact. And when we were propagating our doctrine here, they said I was crazy. Don't listen to him. You Ansars are worshiping Imam Isa. Don't do this. Then out of Afghanistan by way of Pakistan pops up a man called Sheikh Jalani, who came in and said he was the Mahdi, that he was a Sufi with spiritual light, and broke Dar Islam up, dissolved them into Taqwa, Iqwa, Masjid, Mu'min, then went on back to Afghanistan. Because he was a light-skinned Arab, these same Sunnis who say Ansars worship Imam Isa was wrong, dropped everything and became his followers, and moved from Herkimer over to Livonia inside of a post office and set up their community there. You understand what I'm trying to reach?
Yes.
That's where we have our differences. Allah says, I bestow knowledge upon whom I please. And for them to say that he is not giving it to me because I don't fit the color barriers of which they want to worship is their problem. Anybody who reads the books have to say, I know doggone well this man ain't writing all this stuff. If you take the time to read all of the Ansar doctrine, a new book came out yesterday, Are Pictures of Sin? Why am I putting this out? Because the Sunni Muslims cannot show you anywhere in the Quran where it says you cannot have pictures. They will jump to Hadith or try to use Exodus on you, of which they say they don't believe. The book of Exodus is tampered with, but when it comes to certain points like circumcision, which is not found in the Quran by word, they will jump over to the Torah or Abraham. You follow? So I put a book out to say you should have a picture of your mother, you should have a picture of your father up in your house to show to your children. That's your lineage. That's your family. You should be proud to show them who their grandparents are. And if they say that's a sin, say, I'm not showing them their mother nor their father because I think that they are Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a sin to have pictures and say that it is the creator. It's a sin to say that that picture is for them. I'm using the word God. You can't take a picture out and say this picture is Allah. That's a sin. But you can have a picture of anybody else, prophet or angel, as long as you're not saying it's Allah and you're not putting up for worship. Otherwise, every time the Muslims travel to Mecca by the millions on pilgrimage, you understand?
Yes.
The Muslims that are behind the customs office receiving their passports, as they look at their pictures, they're all sinning. If it's that silly and that stupid to think that just to have a picture of yourself on the wall in your house, or a picture of your mother, or a picture of your father, or your grandfather, or the Mahdi, or Elijah Muhammad, or Master Farad Muhammad, or Clarence 13X, or Noble Juali, is a sin. For you to do that in your house is a sin, is because these men are so afraid that they're going to go into mortal worship. That's why they say don't have a picture of the Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet Muhammad is not Allah to me. I have no intentions of worshiping him. So thus I can put his picture on the wall and point at his picture to my son and say, see that man Muhammad? That's the one who brought the Quran. He is one of the better examples for us here that Allah sent. But the moment I put his picture up and say that he is Allah, then I have committed a major sin. Do you understand?
Yes.
This is why the book, Our Pictures of Sin, is necessary. The book the brother's passing out to y'all is a rebuttal book written to answer questions of doubt because the Sunnis, who have nothing else to do, spend time slandering the Ansar Allah.
That's my brother, yeah. Thank you.
Okay?
Yes.
And I wrote a book answering it so that you will have all the questions answered.
Okay.
But, let me add, but they do need to grow up and realize that black Christians, black Jews, black or Israelites, the nation of Islam, 5%ers nation, the gods and the goddesses, the Zulu nation, are all one family. And they have a habit of quoting a section from the Quran where they say, Allah has created you into tribes and families that you may know about one another. And the best amongst you is he who's the most righteous or the most noble. In actuality, Muslims have to learn to respect black Christians, black Jews. You have to learn to respect your brother first. Then you can think about trying to convince him that what you think is right, but you can't start off by standing up and saying Minister Louis Farrakhan is a disbeliever because he doesn't believe in the same traditions as some specific group of orthodox Sunnis, or that Warif D. Muhammad is a disbeliever because he doesn't do such and such and such and such. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
These are black leaders. If Warif D. Muhammad has aligned himself up with white leadership, which he has, called Darul Ifta, if Siraj Wahaj have lined himself up with those white leadership, which he has, and if Bilal Phillips, these are all black men, have lined themselves up with the same organization in Saudi Arabia, but has not paid attention to what is happening to our brothers in South Africa, or not paying attention what happened to our brothers in Ethiopia, or to our brothers and sisters right here in America, how they're being abused. They're trying to put on dark glasses and pretend they don't see the racism that's going on. I want nothing to do with those kind of people. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
And I suggest it. I suggest we unite and come together. Them Sunnis into another whole bag of supporting pale Arabs who got billions of dollars and won't do nothing for South Africa. Won't try to liberate our people. Won't try to stop us from starving. Don't even build them a mosque right there on Bedford and Fulton. They won't even build them a mosque. These guys got signs up begging for funds when they told us we're not supposed to beg. They said for years, Ansars are beggars. They're beggars. In Islam, you don't beg. Go down right now in Fulton and Bedford and look up, you see a sign. What's the difference between beg and donation? Both donation and beg mean beg. Yes or no? Now all of a sudden they're begging. They should have begged when we were begging. Then they wouldn't have to beg. They'd have some books out. But they got these multi-billionaires like Adnan Khashoggi and them chasing around white women in America and sponsoring movies and stuff in America, but won't build schools or masjids or playgrounds or medical centers or anything like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was trying to do, or banks or anything. Everything they're doing is strictly for pale Arabs. And now we got black brothers telling me and you we should follow them and not respect Minister Louis Farrakhan, or not respect Clarence 13X, or not respect Noble Drew Ali. I'm not going that way. Not again, brother. It's too late in time. We saw what they did to Malcolm X. They waited for him to turn against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, then killed him and tried to make it look like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did it.
Can the devil fool a Muslim?
Not nowadays,
right.
Except Muslims who don't know no better.
Okay.
Don't forget, there's a whole lot of Muslims that out there that's being fooled because Siraj Wahaj and them are being fooled by the devil. Then the Prophet Muhammad said that a lot of his followers are going to go over and follow Dajjal, or Dibd Messiah, which refers to in Arabic as the Antichrist. Now, most Muslims are thinking they're talking about Christians, when in actuality, they're not. Because he mentions in the same hadith that they believe in, that this Dajjal is going to have the sign of Kaf on his forehead, the letter Kaf from the Arabic language. The letter Kaf is symbolic of the word kufr or kafiruna, which means those who conceal what they know to be true. Which means, he says, again, some of his followers, meaning Muslims, are going to go over and worship and follow the Antichrist, who he says will rise up out of Arabia. In that same hadith. You see? Now what has happened is, the oil wealth of Saudi, instead of it being used for the dawah, to spread the truth around the world, it's being used to build hotels. It's being used to invest in America and raise the economy and the power here, which is giving the Christian world more power. You follow that? Mm-hmm. So the Saudi Arabians are the Dajjal that the Muslims are supposed to look for.